As some of you may know from my currently most popular video on the channel, I am a really big fan of the Rhythm Heaven saga, and not too long ago I stumbled upon a video from Nick Robinson that showcased a English translated reproduction card of the original Rhythm Tengoku. I wanted this card as soon as I discovered it existed, since it would let me play the English translated version of the game on original hardware. So I went on Etsy, I looked for it, and it was $30 shipped, which seemed to me kind of a ripoff, since I could actually get 2 copies of the original Japanese Rhythm Tengoku for that price. Then I thought about it, and this is a reproduction card. It's brand new, so it's actually not something made from like used cards that are reflashed. And as everyone knows, if it's new and it's bootleg, it comes from one place: China. So I did what I usually do in these cases. I hit up AliExpress, I search for the game name, and I find nothing. You can actually find it now, but months ago there was nothing if you looked for this, just nothing. So I tried misspelling the name, and I actually found something. And that something was Rhythm Heaven Castlevania Double Pack 32-bit video game cartridge console card US version. This thing. It looked like Rhythm Heaven to me from the thumbnail, so what I did was place an order, and thanks to a AliExpress coupon that they give to every new member, and no, I'm not paid by them, I'm not sponsored, I wish I were sponsored, I paid a grand total of $197 shipped for it, which is a steal. So after that I had to wait, and I waited a lot. Nothing came home, and I thought I had been scammed, since the seller actually had closed the store, and that was kind of worrying. But then, after 97 days, when I was out of town, and by out of town I mean I had to get a plane to get home, my mother sends me this photo of a package that just came to our house. And that was it, that was the game. But I was out of town for 20 days, so I asked her to test it for me, and it was indeed working, and it was indeed the translated version of Rhythm Tengoku. And now I am finally back home, and I can take a look at it myself. First things first, it comes in this little nice case to keep it, and I have to say, this was a nice bonus for $2. Opening the case reveals the cartridge itself, which I have to say looks pretty convincing from the exterior. If I didn't know any better, and if I didn't know this game never came out in the West, I could probably mistake this for an original card, and even comparing it directly to a original Shrek 2 card, this does look indeed pretty legit. There is a slight color difference between the original and the repro, but it's something so minor it would probably go unnoticed if you didn't have a original card to compare side by side. It even seems to have Nintendo logos and everything, so to a untrained eye or to someone that is in a hurry and just wants to buy a game, this can look legit. So let's pop this in my DS Lite and check out how does it work. And it seems to work fine indeed. It's not the latest version of the patch, but it's a complete enough one. The only Japanese left is on the warning screen and in some other minor places. So I played through the game a bit, and it was working fine. I did manage to play through it like a breeze actually, but then I noticed something odd. The game slowed down a lot when it got to saving. This wasn't a problem, since the gameplay is indeed full speed and the saving process only occurs in the menus, but it got me thinking about what kind of hardware this repro was using, and the only way to discover it was opening it up. I decided to compare it to the aforementioned Shrek 2 card, just to see what they did get right and what they did get wrong. This screw is indeed a tri-wing one, just like the ones in the original Game Boy Advance games, but it is much shorter and of a different color. It also isn't really used to hold the game together, but mostly for showcase. The game is held together by the shape of the cartridge itself and by what seems to be some really cheap glue. And now we can finally take a look at the board itself. The Nintendo logo we were seeing before is in fact a Ninlendo logo. I don't know if this is some weird copyright avoiding measure, but it certainly made me chuckle. We also have 2 visible chips on the board and one covered by a blob of epoxy that we can't really check out without an X-ray machine, which I don't have. Let's then analyze the chips we can see. I'll pop my marker lens on, scratch some of this glue off and see what they are. So the first chip seems to be a HAM36L0R706, a 16MB memory chip from Kynex. and this is used to store the game ROM. The other one seems to be a Hair1 LV5256 chip from Renesas, and it's a 256 kilobits SRAM chip, and this one is used to save the game. And all this info does indeed match both the original ROM sides and save sides. So yeah, my theory is that the original SRAM found in the original Rhythm Tengoku cartridge is faster than the one they use here, and this causes the slowdowns, but it's something so minor that it doesn't affect the gameplay. It's just there and you can completely ignore it. Anyway, let's wrap all this up. And I mean literally, let's put this thing back together. I recommend you buy a $2 repro from China. Let's just say that if you are in the market for this, I mean for a English translated repro, even of other games like Mother 3, this is a great deal if you can wait for it to arrive. I wouldn't really suggest this to collectors because it's a bootleg basically, but if you want to play the game and you want to play it in English, it's great. I love this thing, and the price is, I think, unbeatable. So yeah, if you don't mind the Nintendo logo on it, it's good. For $2 you can't really go better than this. Anyway, that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more content like this.